dipshit motherfucker. Fuck you, that's why. Cause fuck you, that's why. Cause helmets suck, that's why. And comics like you swallow, that's why. Fuck Pete Wilson, that's why. Fuck Dick Floyd, that's why.
Fuck Dick Floyd, indeed. It's definitely way before my era, but that band was definitely way ahead of their time, to say the least. But anyway, welcome to the Liberty Bowl, you guys. How are you guys doing today? It is, as always, we are here every Friday night, 10 p.m., where we just kind of wrap up all the news for the week, kind of go over, the latest and the downfall of the American Empire. All right. So anyway, man, how you doing this week?
Doing good, man. A little bummed for fucking old Trumpsicles at this point, but obviously we'll get into that. It's fucking wild out here, watching the destruction of centuries of jurisprudence and political structure, man.
That's right.
Pretty wild time to be alive, man.
Yep. And it's all in the name of democracy.
Yeah.
Right?
What about you, bro? How you doing?
Yeah, man. I'm out here making it. I'm out here surviving. Doing the Bidenomics shuffle. Yep. Just taking it one day at a time. Just trying to hold on. But either way, we had a bit of a not too much of a busy week, but we had some major stuff going on this week. There's actually quite a few funny videos. We're not really going to get into them, but did you see the acorn falling on the car? I'm sure you saw that one, right?
Of course, man. Of course. Yeah. I'm hit. Yeah, they're shooting from my car.
All-time fucking funniest video ever, dude. Like, I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, talk about incompetence and just talk about I don't even know what to call that, dude. Just cowardice. Like, are you really that scared? Like, you thought somebody that you fucking patted down, cuffed up, and put in your car managed to pull a fucking gun out of their asshole and start shooting at you through the window? Like, absolutely fucking ridiculous, man.
Yeah, and the reason that they'll shoot your chihuahua, man.
Right. Yep. Fucking and get away with it too, man. Fucking yeah. It's okay, man. I just kind of fucking shot it, attempted to murder somebody, but I'll just resign and we'll just call it even, right?
The funniest part is you got these highly trained fucking, lizard pirates, and they unloaded 2 magazines and didn't hit the person one time.
Right.
Fuck.
Shit. I hope he has to pay for all the fucking repairs to that car, man. Because I already know who's gonna pay for it. It's gonna be the taxpayers. But either way, they should at least make that motherfucker pay back for the repairs on that car. That's what he said. Fucking like, no, but I feel weird. Like, yeah, you feel weird. You feel stupid, don't you? Like,
I'm good, but I feel weird.
Oh man. Yeah, if you haven't fucking seen that video, I don't know. You must have been living under a rock this last week, but that shit was fucking hilarious. But anyway, besides funny videos this week, we got breaking news coming out today. Judge Engeron out of New York has made a ruling in the Trump, I guess, what is it, civil fraud case or some shit like that. Basically, they're saying that he misrepresented the value of his properties, and of course they went ahead and made their own valuation on Mar-a-Lago as being $18 million when there's countless evidence of it not being 18 million, in fact being multiple times that amount. Anyway, we'll get into that in a little bit. We got the Obama administration has been confirmed as having spied on Donald Trump. Remember, he's been talking about it, ever since he got elected in 2016 with the whole Russia thing. His campaign was indeed spied on, and now there is actual proof, vindication, but of course it's going to be swept under the rug, and it's the people that are against Trump at this point, there's no swaying them. They're dead set in their ways at this point.
Yeah. And, it's funny as you remember the 60 Minutes interview when he's saying they spied on me, and she's like, sir, there's no proof of that. This is 60 Minutes.
Right. His claims can't be substantiated, like, sir. See, we also got Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. They've been on the stand for the last what, like 3 days, 3 days now.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been ridiculous. I didn't manage to pull up any of the clips yet, but they're circulating all over the Twitter spheres. I'm sure we'll probably be able to find some. But I did watch a lot of the testimony, and it's pretty ridiculous. It's pretty clear that they're gonna be removed from the case. But we'll be talking about that in a little bit. We also got a whole bunch of different types of news coming out of the Russia sphere now. So apparently Vladimir Putin has went ahead and gave his wholehearted endorsement to none other than Joe Biden in the
One Joseph Robinette Bins.
in the presidential election. Have his political opponent, my spelling's terrible, sorry, but his political opponent. Again, I don't really know too much about it. We'll look into that too a little bit. But yeah, he has died apparently. And there's lots of questions being raised up against it, about that. There was also a national security threat that was issued earlier in this week, basically saying that Russia is trying to put nukes in outer space. All right. Well, we'll get into Russia a little bit later in the show. We also got Mayorkas was impeached within the House. Of course, it's not going to get anywhere past that. It's definitely not going to make it past the Senate. But we'll talk about what that may mean. The reasons, of course, behind it. Anybody that doesn't know the reasons that obviously hasn't been paying attention to much of anything. But we'll be getting into that a little bit later. And then I guess one of the FBI informants. Has been charged. One of the FBI informants in the Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, I guess their nefarious dealings in Ukraine's, has been charged with giving false information. Right. So we'll get into what that's all about. The old bait and switch. Basically the Democrats are trying to this exonerates Joe Biden completely. See, it's all just fucking Donald Trump and trying to fucking overthrow the government and this and that. All right. We'll get into all that, but first we're gonna be starting out with this bombshell ruling coming out of New York City. Judge Engeron, again, like I said, ruling that Trump is going to be ordered. Trump and his kids are going to be his kids and his fucking the CEO, the sitting CEO or chair or president. Or, I don't know. We'll get into the article in a minute, but a whole bunch of people associated with Trump, down to his family, is also ordered to pay millions of dollars. And it's not even to a victim necessarily. It's what they call a degorging or something like that, degorgification, something. I don't know. We'll get into that right now in a minute. But what's your thoughts, man? Go ahead and just give us your hot take. Fucking let it out.
On what?
The Engeron, man, the $350 million.
Absolutely asinine, right? I sent you some shots there before the stream started, man. Show in Mar-a-Lago sold for $20 million in 1981. You know what I mean? So this judge is undervaluing it for $2 million for what it sold in, 40, almost 45 years ago, right? You have estimates from realtors saying it's worth upwards of $700 million to $1 billion. And, then the adjoining property, right? It's less than a third of the size, for sale for $150 million, not developed, just nothing on it but trees. Absolute political fucking witch hunt hackery, right? We know this guy, Engeron, involved in Democrat groups and, PACs and whatnot. His, co-judge, she's, been seen with Schumer and supported, Letitia James herself, as well as old Hillary. So, I mean, this is, obvious political bias here. The destroying of centuries of jurisprudence and political structure just because orange hatlers. You know what I mean? Right. If you're willing to destroy the country to beat a single person, what do you actually plan on reigning over, right? And of course, the reign over ashes, but I mean, ashes don't fucking lie in your pockets, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's mostly what these people are in it for. Is to be famous and have stacks, bro. And you fucking burn the joint down and turn it into a third world country. Fuck. Yeah. If we see what happens with that, you go to Mexico and it's $280 for some breakfast fucking tostadas, dog.
Right? Shit, ain't nobody gonna want this fucking, what we got here soon, man. But yeah, definitely some ridiculous kangaroo court shit. Obviously politically motivated. Yeah, and especially coming out of New York. New York, obviously everything is hunky dory when it comes to business transactions and loans and all that type of stuff. In New York, of course, so we know that they're always on top of any sort of shady dealings that may be going on in New York City, which is why this is definitely not anything that's weird or out of the question, out of the ordinary or anything like that, right?
The real out of the ordinary aspect is you had representatives from the bank testify in Trump's favor, saying that there was no crime here, that there was no victim, that the loans were paid back in full with interest, the bank made money, and they wanted to continue to do business with, quote, Mr. Trump. And
right.
this is, I mean, who is this going to be paid to if there's no victim? You know what I mean?
Right.
And what does this speak for businesses currently in New York? Like, if you own a business and you are in New York, get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're letting you know that if you don't politically side with them, that they'll fucking destroy your family.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and check out this article so we could basically get into the a bit of the meat and potatoes of what his ruling was. This is from the Gateway Pundit. It's breaking. Far left judge Engoron releases verdict in Trump civil fraud trial, orders Trump to pay more than $350 million and a 3-year business ban in New York City. Right. So of course, it's a 3 years ban from serving as an officer or a director of a New York business or corporation. So essentially, not necessarily making him dissolve his businesses, because of course they still want that city tax revenue to come in, but basically making sure that Trump cannot benefit from it in any way, right? So Judge Arthur Engoron on Friday released his verdict in Letitia James's New York City fraud trial against President Trump. The judge made his decision in a 92-page filing. Judge Engoron ordered Trump to pay more than a $355 million fine and barred Trump from serving as an officer or director of any New York corporation or any legal entity in New York for a period of 3 years. Engoron claimed Trump and each of the defendants participated in aiding and abetting the conspiracy to commit insurance fraud by their individual acts in falsifying business records and valuations, causing materially fraudulent SFCs to be intentionally submitted to insurance companies. Right. So this is the part where they talk about what the money's being paid back for if the victim is not necessarily claiming to be a victim, right? So what they call it is disgorgement of ill-gotten gains, right? I did actually kind of look into how common a ruling like this is, and generally where these types of rulings would be made is in things like insider trading and stuff like that, where basically somebody made ill-gotten gains, but there's not necessarily anybody direct to pay back to, and so basically that's what they're trying to get Trump with here. So disgorgement of ill-gotten gains. So whereas there is a claim based on fraudulent activity, disgorgement may be available as an equitable remedy, notwithstanding the absence of loss to individuals or independent claims for restitution. Disgorgement is distinct from the remedy of restitution because it focuses on the gain of the wrongdoer as opposed to the loss of the victim. This disgorgement aims to deter wrongdoing by preventing the wrongdoer from retaining ill-gotten gains from fraudulent conduct. Accordingly, the remedy of disgorgement does not require a showing or allegation of direct losses to consumers or the public. The source of the ill-gotten gains is immaterial, Engoron wrote. All right. How do you like those apples? Now, as detailed in the findings of fact, there is overwhelming evidence that each of these defendants made or participated in making a false statement in the business records of an enterprise, the Trump Organization, with the intent to defraud. Engoron wrote in the filing reviewed by the Gateway Pundit. Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump were also ordered to pay millions of dollars in fines. Eric Trump and Dom Jr. were ordered to pay $4,013,024 each. There is also sufficient evidence that Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump June, and Eric Trump intentionally falsified business records. They served as attorneys, in fact, for Donald Trump, and were under a heightened duty of prudence. Engeron wrote. The Trump Organization CFO Alan Weiselberg was ordered to pay $1 million. So let's see. Yeah, that's the basically who was made to pay out, why they were made to pay out, and basically their reason. Of course, keep in mind this is going to get kicked up. It's going to be appealed. Well, we'll see how it ends up going. As we mentioned, this is basically a partisan witch hunt. It's as Bongino likes to point out quite often, campaigns are about snapshots and sound bites, and this is exactly that right there. Right? It's election season, so that's why all this shade, a lot of these trials and all this stuff's going down now. All right, so Engeron did not dissolve Trump's businesses. In its September 26, 2023 decision, in order granting a partial summary judgment to OAG, this court ordered the cancellation of defendants' business licenses. The Appellate Division First Department has stayed the relief pending the final disposition on appeal. However, as goes forward, there will be two-tiered oversight on independent monitor and an independent director of compliance of the major activities that could lead to fraud. Cancellation of the business licenses is no longer necessary, Engeron wrote, according to the filing reviewed by this reporter. Yeah. I lost my spot. Anyway, I lost my spot. Oh, never mind. There you go. Accordingly, this court hereby modifies its September 26, 2023 decision and orders solely to the extent of removing the language ordering the LLC cancellation in mass. The restructuring and potential dissolution of any LLC shall be subject to individual review by the court-appointed independent director of compliance in consultation with Judge Jones, Engeron added. The non-jury Soviet-style show trial played out in court for 11 weeks. Judge Engeron delayed the verdict to mid-February after he demanded information about possible perjury by Trump Organization CFO Alan Weiselberg, and at the 11th hour. The fix was in. Engeron had already ruled that Trump engaged in fraud and ordered the dissolution of Trump's New York businesses. The New York Appellate Court stayed Engeron's order. Recall that radical Marxist New York Attorney General Letitia James sought $370 million in damages when there is no victim in this fraud case, and she is also seeking to ban Trump and his sons from operating any business in New York. She accused Trump of inflating his assets and defrauding lenders and insurance companies. James originally sought $250 million in damages from Trump. In addition to increasing the amount of damages, she wanted Trump to pay Letitia James sought a lifetime ban from him for the real estate industry. In November, a Deutsche Bank executive who worked to approve at least one of Trump's loans testified that it is atypical but not entirely unusual to reduce a client's assets values and still approve a loan. Trump is expected to speedily appeal Engeron's decision. Given the grave stakes, we trust that the Appellate Division will overturn this egregious verdict and end this relentless persecution against my clients, Trump's attorney, Ali Hubba said in a statement. So of course, it's a breaking story. It is going, ongoing. There's going to be more, going on, especially as it starts to get appeals. And but either way, that's what we got so far on this, man. What's your thoughts after hearing that whole spiel there, man?
Nothing changes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Complete fucking political theater. This guy has not anything to do with real estate. You know what I'm saying? This guy is a fucking judge. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not to mention he's judging a property that's fucking thousands of miles away. You know what I'm saying? And who the fuck is he? Who the fuck are these people to get involved in a business transaction that was completely above board where both parties were satisfied? And I'm saying, bringing up insurance. Yeah, you insure a property, you inflate the property value to insure it. I myself have done the same, had a previous house insured for 3 times what I paid for it. You know what I'm saying? That's what the fuck you do.
Careful, man.
Yeah, right.
They might be, kicking down your doors next week, bro.
Right. But
Yeah.
you know, and the same thing with you know, a property evaluation. When you try to get a loan, you're going to try to get the maximum value out of it, and of course, it's the bank's job. Just like if you were to try to sell anything, to
Right.
finagle you down and beat it down into where it's something that they feel is acceptable. They
Yep.
have their own appraisers and adjusters, and you know, if they thought that they were being robbed, they wouldn't have approved the fucking loan to begin with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, and these loans don't even total up to what anywhere near what realtors are saying Mar-a-Lago's worth.
Right.
Actual people in the realty game in Florida. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Again, in you know, the property at Mar-a-Lago, that means what, it's from the lagoon to the sea, right? And you know, so the dude's got fresh water, a salt water, completely developed PGA fucking level golf course, professional level fucking tennis courts. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the list just keeps going. And for anyone to think that this is copacetic to, again, destroy fucking hundreds of years of jurisprudence because someone offends you or you don't like their policies is completely asinine, man. And if you think that this won't be used against a Democrat president, you better hope Joe Biden dies real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Fucking old bastard. I mean, apparently, you know, he is too senile to stand, you know, trial, you know, so we'll see how that ends up going out. But
Right. And that, you know, and that's a federal fucking prosecutor. You know what I mean? You got to get a state prosecutor like a Fani Willis or a Letitia James that's hungry to get their name in newspapers and make a name for themselves, that's willing to fucking put their career on the line to, you know, crack skulls of the corrupt, I guess. You know what I mean?
right. And how much
Even if it's for self-serving purposes.
do you think a lot of this, you know, blatantly, you know, partisan lawfare, this, you know, stuff that, you know, you even got left wingers basically coming out like, wait a minute, people do that all the time, you know, like, fuck, I do that. That's how businesses are run, you know, basically,
Yeah.
you know, these well-known names, you know, within the business, you know, spheres, even within New York, you know, basically saying that everybody does that. I do that. I mean, shit, fucking Judge Engeron probably does that shit himself, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of the stuff that's basically, you know, clearly partisan. Do you think a lot of it's basically just kind of testing the waters to see who's really paying attention out there?
I mean, as far as that's concerned, they know the vast majority aren't. And it's all
Right.
about team. So I don't see that being an issue. I don't even see that being a thought. I think at this point, they're like, we're going to do whatever the fuck we want. And they're being pretty blatant about it, man.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
like the going through the process is the only sham that they're actually putting any effort into, you know, showing you is, look, we're going through a trial, but you know, like the article just said, and we know ourselves from covering this previously, Engeron, before the trial basically even began, he was like, this dude's fucking guilty.
he started writing those 92 pages on day one.
Right.
92 pages of fucking why he thinks Trump is guilty. Like, that's fucking
Yeah,
ridiculous, man.
his summary judgment originally. I mean, he just came out without trial or anything and just said he's
Right.
guilty. It's fucking
Yep.
ridiculous, man. And I
Yeah.
mean, this is, you know, this is supposed to be America, something that we've stood on as, you know, innocent till proven guilty, but it's the exact opposite, man. It's bizarro world. Everything's fucking inverted.
Right. You know, I mean, there is no blind justice in America no more. You know, that's you know, really, you know, every part of our system is a cornerstone. You know, that's why it's supposed to be, you know, fucking a triangle. You know, fucking three branches and shit. You know, they're all supposed to be a cornerstone. But the judicial part, that's pretty essential. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
as we see with this Biden administration, they're breaking down every single part that they can. You know. You know,
You see it at this point. I mean, you know, it's as much as you don't want to fucking believe it because of recent fucking diversity hires. It seems that the only court that's functioning, you know, anywhere near where it should be is the Supreme Court. And I'm not
right.
saying that because of a conservative, you know, majority. I'm saying that because, like, you know, we've seen, you know, recently with the Colorado case, even the leftist judges are like, you guys are fucking nuts, man. Like, how are you even bringing this up when it doesn't mention, you know, the president or anything like that? Like,
Right.
you know, and you'd think the highest office, if they were worried truly about that, the highest office would be at least, you know, in the top two named. You know?
Yep. Well, that's like we've been talking about, you know, on the show before. It's they don't expect it to make it all the way to the Supreme Court before the election. That's why they're starting to do all this stuff this year. That's why they're trying to get all of these, rulings and decisions and, big headlines and fucking snapshots and sound bites and shit in, because they know that it's not going to make it past the Supreme Court. That's why they'll delay all the way up until this point, up until the 11th hour. And then that's when they start dropping all the headlines and all the rulings and all this and that shit that they know is bullshit, and they know is a complete perversion of justice. But either way, like we say, in their minds, they're saving the world right now from the evil orange man, And so I think that, they just don't expect it to actually make it up to the Supreme Court. They don't actually, at least before the election, like I said.
Yeah, they surely expect it to make it there. But like you're saying, that's the whole reason for Garland and Bragg and fucking, Jack Smith's whole, well, we just got to give them the speediest trials, because we know the federal government drags their fucking feet on anything besides writing checks. And you know what I'm saying? Like they were pushing this so they can fit it in that time frame, like you're saying. So by the time it ends, it'll be, even if the Supreme Court takes it up immediately, it's going to be too damn late. Like the next case doesn't even start until next month, and Jack Smith's case is basically delayed indefinitely. So it could start 3 weeks before the election. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so that's why really, their deadline in all of these cases is the election. For all of them. That's the whole reason for the indictments in the first place. That's the whole reason, like I say, we're waiting this long. It's because, that's what they're waiting on. That's what they're riding on. If a court date gets pushed back, past that time, I don't know. I guess in that case, it probably wouldn't really help too much, because these whole, basically trying to take them off the ballot and stuff like that, that's getting stricken down. But a lot of people already thought that was just kind of, like wrong in the first place anyway, but the court case and stuff, like the Jack Smith case being pushed past the election, could even still hurt him, just because the fact that,
hanging over his head. Yeah.
Right. Jack Smith is basically dead on the water now. Jack Smith is basically, his life literally hinges on the election, But,
and right now he's going through an appeal with the what is her name, Judge Cannon in Florida, where she ordered the release of information that he deemed classified, not the federal government. And so he's appealing that right now. So that one's on hold as well. You know what I'm saying? Yep. The documents case.
Yep. And then there's still, not to mention the fact that, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck appointed you? I mean, who the fuck, when did you go before the Senate to get fucking, approved? And in which case, if you didn't go before the Senate, then why do you outrank all these other people who did get appointed and went before the Senate for approval? This does not make any sense.
The quabbling pool of slime, Merrick Garland.
Right, because Merrick Garland fucking says so. Now all of a sudden you're the fucking highest law in the land. Like, dude, who the fuck are you?
Right.
But it really just goes to show, if you have the attitude, you play the part, maybe you could win the fucking game. Who knows?
You wish we had sheriffs right with nuts, man. You got these ones that like to go on talk show circuits and talk big game and fucking act tough and shit. But in reality, that's the strongest law enforcement in the country is a sheriff in their own county, man. And why aren't these guys arresting some of these corrupt ass fucking Democrats? And obviously, something as big as like a federal case or whatnot, it's going to be out of their hands. But dude, I mean, there's much smaller crimes. I mean, you can Google yourself how many fucking, sexual crimes and yada, yada get settled out of court every year at your expense for senators and congressmen and, different state representatives and whatnot. I mean, and then there's got to be conservative fucking, district attorneys and, prosecutors in this country, right? I mean, and it seems all of them have their head in their ass besides Paxton in Texas, and his hands are full trying to appease an enemy fucking GOP party there in Texas and the border situation, man. You know what I mean? So It's like, one man can only do so much.
I think a lot of it, unlike why are the Republicans and all, why are the sheriffs, why are all these people just allowing this stuff to happen? I think for one, as we mentioned, on this show before, the Republican Party, like, oh, we're decorum, we're not going to do anything out of the ordinary. We're going to follow the rules by the book and everything. Like if we receive an order down from, the the higher ups, we're gonna follow it to the T. You know, they're those type of people, and that's the way that they've always been.
Right, but it's like, it seems that those are only the dinosaurs, and the
Right,
bought and
right.
paid for
Well,
is like fucking One-Eye Crenshaw. You know
right.
what I'm saying?
I got 3 points to it. The second one is this isn't normal. What we're doing or what's going on in America, and this is not normal. This is not
Right.
anything that their grandparents had to deal with. This is not anything that their great grandpappy, fucking anybody within their, all, unless they go back to the days of revolution and Civil War and stuff like that. But this really isn't anything that any of them have had to deal with. This is out of the ordinary for this era in American history. So I think that's another thing that people are just kind of reluctant to fuck this, fuck Joe Biden. I ain't gonna listen to the president, or whatever, As again, it's
Excuse me, fuck
just
Joe Biden.
right. And then of course, fear, straight up fear.
Yeah. I mean, I guess fear at this point would just be the political gulag, like the J6ers that are in solitary confinement for fucking 3 years. Yeah, I can see that fear. You know what I'm saying? But man,
and
but at some point,
you're literally watching the justice system go rogue right now. Like, you're going to be the one to call it out, like point it out and like actually try to do something. And, as a smaller dude, like, hey, that fucking rogue ass system is going to eat you alive and nobody's going to even know nobody's going to even know your name, like.
I mean, you see, the Democrat fucking small times making a name for themselves again, like Letitia James, Fani Willis. Like if it wasn't for them out here trying to fucking, we're going to destroy Trumpsicles, you wouldn't even know their name, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they're willing to, and you see, like with the Fani Willis shit, I mean, completely corrupt. Everything that she ran on or ran against, rather, she's culpable in. You know what I mean? So blatant fucking corruption. And if they got the balls to do that while being corrupt, fuck, dude. You know what I'm saying? Someone's got to stand the fuck up and put their nuts on the line. And it's only going to take a few cameras to change that situation if they're not going to know your name, man.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
I think what it's going to come to is like, we have to find some way to get it out to the masses to make people realize that this is a fucking coup. Like this is it. Like this is their plan. This is what the ideology.
It's been one since 2015.
But I mean, like this is the coup d'etat. Like this is the push for power. This is the push to overthrow the American system and the American way of life and reinstall their fucking new vision of the future and shit. This is it. Like once people realize that, like this is not a drill, this is not a conspiracy theory. Like, no, this is the fucking Democrat Party, basically. Not even the Democrat Party. This is basically the uniparty of the government going rogue and basically choosing their, the continuity of fucking their power over the will of the people. Like this is that moment.
But it legitimately started 9 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just all this stuff is just now coming out for you to find out about. You know what I'm saying? All this using foreign spies to, Obama order him to spy on Trump, to set off the Russian collusion shit. That's what started the first impeachment. Like, I mean, it started in 2015. You know what I mean? It's just coming to its fucking zenith. And that moment of the precipitous, we got to do this or fucking death, man. You know what I'm saying? Join or fucking die, son.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. I think, once more people come to that realization that, like, again, the things that I mentioned before, like this is out of decorum. This is completely fucking unusual. Like, this, the way that things are going, court wise and, with fucking spying on political opponents and stuff like that. This is completely out of the ordinary. Right. Like this is not normal. This is definitely not a free country. And this is a blatant corruption, Yeah,
as they scream and point the finger of fucking, he was interrupting the peaceful transfers of powers. Like, it's exactly what you did. You know what I mean? And even the whole J6 shit, we know now for sure security was offered, man. You know what I'm saying? The National Guard was offered beforehand by Trump. And who turned it down? Nancy fucking Pelosi. and her choice for sergeant
Right.
at arms, dude.
Yeah, you mean Nikki Haley, right?
Right, exactly.
I'm just fucking right. But one thing that this really does kind of show, because one thing that we know is that basically rigging elections and basically sowing discord and basically toppling governments, that's kind of our thing. Like we kind of invented that thing. Like we kind of invented fucking going to foreign fucking countries and basically subverting their power in order, unless they fall in line. That's kind of our thing. And so it really does kind of seem like for a long time it was just kind of overlooked. It was just especially by like the media and stuff like that, just like, oh yeah, like we came, we saw, he died, like yay, and it's the one thing that you got to realize, especially when it comes to like these 3-letter organizations and stuff like that. The conspiracy theorists have been screaming about it since the term conspiracy theorist became a thing, after the JFK thing. And basically they've if we'll allow them to have the power to do that type of stuff in foreign nations, because it benefits our fucking our bottom line. It helps strengthen our dollar and what have you. It helps strengthen our global hegemony. They'll use it on us too. It's not just going to be against our enemies. Same thing goes for just about anything. Anything that you have that you give them the power to use on somebody else, they're going to use. To take the Patriot Act. It's now it's fucking completely used to fucking spy on so-called domestic terrorists. They don't even give a fuck about the fucking foreign terrorists. They're working with the fucking foreign terrorists. They're funding the foreign terrorists. Like,
yeah,
now
9/11 was used to destroy the fucking the justice system for sure, man.
Right. Yep. And then that's what I say. Fucking when it comes to the power that will just look the other way on, it's eventually going to bite us in the ass, because they are eventually going to use it on us.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying with the whole prosecuting ex-president shit. Yep. And it's the same with trying to make your feelings and your wants compulsory, like with legislation. It's it's the same shit, man. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. Let's see. Read a little bit of this report here. This article. What is from Fox News? Political espionage campaign targeted Trump in Russia collusion tale with a WMD-style story, a journalist says. Matt Taibbi and colleagues reported evidence backing Trump's longstanding claims the Obama-era officials spied on his campaign. The journalist, known for publishing the Twitter files and his work chronicling the Occupy Wall Street protests, claimed in a new Substack report that that was privy to the evidence of an Obama-era political espionage campaign, not unlike the one its purported target Donald Trump long suspected. Matt Taibbi, who published the report with fellow journalist Michael Schellenberger and reporter Alex Gutentag, further told Fox News the narrative of Trump-Russia collusion had the same hallmarks of the Bush-era Iraqi weapons of mass destruction claims. On Wednesday, Jesse Waters' primetime host Jesse Waters covered the contents of the report, extensively reporting Obama-era CIA, extensively reporting Obama-era CIA Director John Brennan asked English-speaking U.S. allies to target the Trump campaign in 2016, and that foreign intelligence services were offered a list of 26 Trump world figures who could be bumped or encountered by intelligence agencies. Walters surmised one such individual was likely George Papadopoulos, a former campaign staffer who later pleaded guilty to lying to federal investigations amid a probe in which he was approached while abroad by operatives who offered, quote, dirt on Democratic challenger Hillary Clinton. Foreign spies didn't discover evidence of Trump-Russia collusion and turn it over to the feds. Foreign spies were assigned by Obama's CIA to create a false impression of collusion to trigger an FBI counterintelligence investigation. Obama's CIA worked with Hillary's foreign agents in London to hatch a hoax, which led to the FBI investigation, the illegal wiretapping, and then General Mike Flynn sting. The report claimed the U.S. intelligence community asked the Five Eyes Intel Consortium, Americans, British, Canadian, Australians, and New Zealanders to surveil Trump associates and share intelligence they acquired with U.S. agencies. All right, so I just want to really quick pause right there about the whole Five Eyes thing. That's fucked. Like that's clearly fucking corrupt as fuck. All right, so basically what the Five Eyes are is basically a way for governments to spy on their own citizens, right? So governments can't necessarily spy on their own citizens, but foreign governments can spy on American citizens, just like America could spy on foreign citizens, right? So basically what they do is they just have this fucking consortium of people that intel agencies, from different countries that they just spy on each other's countries for them. And if that's not fucking corrupt, I don't know what the fuck is. Yeah, that's some fucked up shit right there. Yeah. Information about the alleged cooperation reportedly lies in a 10-inch binder in Langley, Virginia, home to the CIA's headquarters, according to Taibbi, who added that if true espionage and election-related laws were then broken. Taibbi told the writers that the scope of former U.S. Attorney for Connecticut John Durham's special counsel investigation was limited and did not expand in that particular direction. The information that we have, the investigation that was conducted by the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, what they found was a broad political espionage campaign, he said. Taibbi summarized the findings of his report as twofold, as at least 26 Trump-linked individuals were improperly and without predication placed under surveillance in the election year 2016, and that intel alleging a Russian interference plot in cahoots with the Trump campaign were unfounded. It's a WMD-style story. They suppressed dissenting opinions and created a false narrative, he said. Allegations arose during George W. Bush's administration that oppositional claims questioning whether then Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein had such weapons were widely ridiculed and suppressed. However, Taibbi said he would like to confirm additional information on the purported binder residing in Northern Virginia, while reporting there is also a report into the origins of the intel community's assessment that, quote, never left the vault in Langley. See, that's like a 17 to 20 page report that was confirmed by multiple sources. Apart from that, we were told there are numerous other investigative materials that may or may not be those binders that stories are referring to, Taibbi said. This led Waters to conclude the report to be another reason why the Washington bureaucracy fears the second Trump presidency, because he'll blow the lid off that. Let's see. They also alluded to a combative interview Trump sat for with 60 Minutes correspondent Leslie Stahl, where the Republican pushed back on the CBS journalist's dismissiveness towards allegations of spying on his campaign. That's the one that you were talking about earlier with the we can't report that. It's not substantiated. That's what they're talking about there. See, so on Wednesday evening, George Washington University law professor Jonathan Turley also reacted to Taibbi's report, noting that Papadopoulos and Carter Page, who was later targeted under FISA statutes, were announced as part of then-candidate Trump's foreign policy team. FISA is not supposed to be used to target First Amendment activities, political activities, he said, but even going outside of FISA to target U.S. citizens and use surrogates to do it would raise very significant legal and policy questions. It would also contradict things that had been made. And that's the end of it. But pretty, again, vindication for all that Trump's basically been saying, since 2016,
and
the Obama administration did. Good.
Got a page of the report right here, and it's all how the advisor Susan Rice, dude, blatantly U.S. intelligence potentially compromised fucking incoming Trump administration to continue surveillance, man. So this was directly ordered by Obama's top security advisor, and the same chick that ran around and told you that the Libya shit was because of a fucking YouTube video.
Right, so who is that?
That's Susan Rice. That was Obama's fucking his head security advisor, and she was in charge, obviously, U.S. security at the time, Joint Chiefs, and that's who under her and Hillary's watch there. You had the Benghazi shit happen, And she was on the top of the cover up, come out to do cleanup on the circuit, saying it was because of a YouTube video, mocking Allah. You know what I'm saying? And Muhammad. And I watched the video myself. You know what I mean? It was banned pretty quickly, but I got to see it. Obviously this is years ago, but it was a comedy, man. I mean, it was a literal 40-second comedy skit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, acting out like he's playing the story of Muhammad, and absolutely ridiculous, man.
yeah. I wasn't aware of everything going on at that point back then. I was too busy doing other stuff. Yeah. But you're definitely some crazy shit. That's as you said, it's been fucking from 8 years ago that the fix is in. The fucking coup d'etat. This is it. This is their moment. And it's basically it's time for people to wake up and smell the corruption. Basically, wake up and discover that that things aren't all fairy tales and fucking rainbows, and it's not always the good guys that win. Actually, more often than not, it's usually the fucking bad guys that win, and they just name themselves good guys.
Yeah,
that's what we have going on here, man. And basically, anybody that tries to go against the narrative, anybody that tries to expose anything besides what the approved narrative is, what they say that you're allowed to say, that's definitely your enemy of the state number one. And that's what I think really Trump did. Basically, like I said, when Trump came about, that's basically when politics went from being fucking WWE to being UFC. It was basically no holds barred. It was basically, oh yeah, you fucking corrupt, you're corrupt. I know that you're fucking corrupt because I paid your ass off a few fucking times. Like, you're corrupt. Like that,
right.
He fucking
your fake news.
Right. He broke the fucking mold of what has been politics and what is basically been keeping us in the dark for ever.
Yeah, and it basically it hurt feelings, especially for the masses, right? It was meltdown and shit, and they're all over the Twitter spheres posting retarded ass Dark Brandon shit as if we're offended or anything by that. And it's like, dude, we're embarrassed and disgusted. You know what I'm saying? Like, a vast difference, man.
Right. Yeah, I mean, dude, like, I don't even know, dude. Like, I could even fucking be like, whatever, fucking, we'll get you guys next time. If it was somebody other than Biden, it's just, like you said, Joe Biden is really embarrassing. It's like he's like an actual embarrassment to the country. Like, it's
a minute gaff machine. At this point, the dude can't speak more than 3 words without some sort of verbal fuck up.
Right. And I mean, this presidency really does kind of let you know how important image is on the world stage, like just how important just as the executive, you have to look the part, you have to play the part, you have to be the part, you have to be able to talk the talk, and your country does the walking and shit. And Joe Biden is not that. Joe Biden can't even fucking mumble the mumble. Like, the dude is fucking gone. And that's, like I say, the rest of the world is taking notice, and that's what I think is leading to a lot of these geopolitical tensions that we have going on right now. Not even tensions, we have fucking war outbreaks since fucking Joe Biden took office in multiple parts of the world right now, and we're involved in all of them.
Yeah, and to know that guy's a fucking vegetable. He literally has crib head. You know what I mean? He's 80-something years old, and he's got crib head. You see him, dude. The back of his head is flat as a fucking board.
Right,
That's all that dude does is lay down, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Even at meetings for people that just had their entire fucking island burned down.
Here's $700.
I gotta get back and see if they signed that bill for Ukraine yet.
Yeah, did you see him gaslighting in old Palestine, Ohio, man?
I didn't. I just saw some pictures of the people greeting him.
Well, I mean, go to Breitbart, if you got a sec. It's pretty terrific. They got a good clip on there. And he's basically standing there telling these people that just went through this shit, and their water's still fucked, so on and so forth, that him and his administration were there since day ones. You know what I'm saying? And you remember, even though old Pete fucking butt plug didn't even
Right.
show up until after Trumpsicles said, "I'm on my
Right.
way with some pallets, man."
Like,
You know what
no,
I'm saying?
no, I'm coming too. I'm coming.
Yeah, yeah. And then he came in
Fucking
his
piece of
Bob the
shit.
Builder outfit, all sparkling cleans, to stand around and try
Right.
to look like constructions workers.
At least he had the fucking hard hat facing in the right direction,
Right, right. But we
Let's
all know
see.
you don't wear monkey boots on a fucking actual job site.
Right.
But they just looked really good with his jeans. You sick fuck.
Let's see. You said it's on Breitbart?
Yeah.
See, Biden to deliver a long promised visit to East Palestine. Biden to visit East Palestine. This one.
Yeah, it's pretty good anyway. He's standing at a podium up there, and he's just steady gaslighting, and that's even what the header on the clip says. Biden gaslighting.
Yeah,
Pretty good shit. Yeah.
I'm trying to find it. I got a couple different ones on here pulled up.
Good stuff. Sorry,
Right.
peeps. We got clips up, but we didn't plan on talking about this. It just come to mind.
Right,
And, good shit. So, this isn't
Yeah.
like you guys, this are unorganized. This is a totally unplanned topic.
Oh, that too. I mean, right. I don't know. I can't find it right now, but yeah, fucking. The dude's a complete fucking, vegetable, complete fucking potato, man.
Yeah.
You want to talk about, seeing as we're talking about fucking old Biden and, old potato fucking shit for brains. I want to talk about the Pooty Poots endorsement.
Pooty poo.
All right. So what's your take on that, man?
Pretty obvious, man, right? Stereotypical fucking 80s, 90s fucking politician. He obviously, has his card, knows exactly his next move. I mean, the guy's been, he was the head of the KGB, right? I mean, he was paid for many years to know how these people think and move. And he blatantly said, it's better for Russia. You know what I mean? Someone that's predictable rather than someone that may be a little bit unstable and, willing to bluff you. You know what I'm saying? And of course, there's the trade aspect. When Trump is in charge, man, fucking Russia, their cash crop obviously is energy. And, we'll take that game over. We became the number one exporter before, Trump left office, obviously. And it wouldn't be hard to do that again. That's just a blatant, go ahead, guys, turn on the motherfucking spigots.
Fucking start pumping, man.
Yeah.
Pumping and fracking.
Yeah. What did he say? Drill, baby, drill.
Right.
And it's good stuff though, right?
you think Biden's actually been colluding with fucking Putin then? I mean, think about it, bro. Think about it. Yeah. No shit. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I think that's one of the reasons, why Putin might be like, oh well, yeah, fuck it. And Biden sends more money over here. We just go kill their soldiers and we take all the equipment and shit. Like, pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
and most of the time they don't even have to fucking go kill him to take it. I mean, these guys are selling it off already. Weapons that we've given Ukraine have turned up in foreign markets all over Europe. So
Russia actually just took another city today.
Yeah, a main target, and supposedly, the Ukrainian army just walked away. But you can understand that because one of their top generals was recently relieved for trying to hold a city too long and costing too many lives. So, he was kicked to the curb, you know what I mean? So this is probably the replacement, and trying to do the exact opposite as of his predecessor. And they're down to kids with Down syndrome in the fucking trenches. So, I mean, he really doesn't have much of a goddamn choice. I mean, that's fucked up. It's fucked up to laugh at. But unfortunately, again, we're in bizarro world. That's what's really going on.
That's why I think Putin might want Joe Biden in there, because the longer that they keep fucking prolonging this war and stuff like that, it's not like fucking Russia's gonna run out of soldiers or run out of fucking people willing to fight for Russia and shit. They're
It's
always
like
gonna
the
have
third
plenty
largest market on the planet,
right?
And believe it or not, I mean, if you watch the Tucker shit, they're doing better than we are, man.
Yeah,
as far as like costs and inflation and whatnot.
But as long as this war is prolonged, then shit, he doesn't have to go to the negotiating table. Fuck it. I don't need to negotiate for any land. I'll take the whole motherfucking thing then. If they'll keep funding it, shit, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, also you have the chance of the incoming president being made powerless by traps being set in fucking, in aid packages. Like JD Vance pointed out, in this current Ukrainian one, there's a sticker in there that's basically like, you can't undo a congressional, allotment, and it could be grounds for impeachment, basically.
Yep. It's
even if it's being used as a negotiating tool rather than just we're cutting off Ukraine aid.
Right. Yeah. I mean, again, that's guarantees for fucking for old Poopins and old Zelensky's too.
Yeah. And
all the way
of course, there's riders in that.
Yeah. All the way up until 2026, right?
I believe so. It's either late 2025 or early 2026, I believe. But either way, man, it's sticking the incoming president regardless of who it is, and good possibility, it's going to be Trump, but whoever it is, they're stuck funding it regardless, man. So that's something that's definitely, you want to call your representative and fucking do not vote on that shit. Not vote no, flat out. Don't even consider it. Vote a fuck you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That shit's fucking. That's fucked. I mean, and of course, Mike Johnson said he's not going to bring it to the floor, right?
Yeah. I mean, he says that now. You know what I'm saying? But that's obviously a negotiating ploy. We've seen what this dude's done previously with continuation resolutions and whatnot. So, I mean, I don't have a lot of faith in the GOP, man. I mean, fortunately, it seems just about all the MAGA or just America First, politicians happen to be in that lower chamber primarily. But, I don't got a lot of faith in old Mike so far.
Right.
He talks a big game like most of them, but cucks in the fucking 11th hour, like all of them.
Yep. Again, shit, like I said, fucking decorum. This is some unusual shit. I guess for it's in the Mike Johnson case, it's not necessarily unusual. It's just what they were supposed to be doing for the last several decades, and they just haven't. Like I said, I think they just got comfortable, and they just like, oh well, I'm just gonna get in there. I'm gonna do my couple terms. I'm gonna collect my donations. I'm gonna write a book and go retire. Like that's been their every single Republican's plan since fucking since Reagan and shit.
I mean, dude, that's it, and we set it up that way. Like, all you got to do is get in there, serve a couple terms, and you get paid for life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why a career politician such a lucrative job. Not to mention all the fucking elbows you're going to be rubbing, all the kickbacks you're going to be getting, setting up deals for after. That's another thing too. And when it comes to
China
a lot of
buying pallets of your shitty book,
right. When it comes to again, the motivation behind these people like Fani Willis, fucking Anger on all these people that once shit does hit the Supreme Court, and it gets shot down in the dirt, they're probably going to be out of a fucking job, especially if they're in any way elected or anything like that. They're probably not going to end up fucking making it. Shit, what was it? I think 2 out of the 3 of the people that held up the Mayorkas impeachment the last go around before this one that just passed, they're basically have announced that they weren't running for a re-election in the first place.
Right. Right.
So they're already out the door anyway. They didn't give a fuck. You know, they just wanted to make some money, and that's why I think they're willing to throw away. You know, because there's no fucking consequences. You know, like they're not going to be held accountable to anything. You know, the public is going to fucking call them scumbags and fucking pieces of shit and all this and that. But what they're actually going for is lucrative fucking contracts and lucrative fucking board seats and this and that type shit with these
jobs on CNN, dude,
right,
like Kingfinger and
right. You know, that's what they're looking for. They don't give a shit about fucking, you know, selling out their country, the Constitution, their own fucking, you know, morals and values, as long as they get paid on the back end. You know.
yeah,
That's
even the swearing in a Bible at this point, dude, it's asinine, right?
right.
I mean, you know, most of these people to
dog
me
and pony.
are fucking evil. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Just going through the damn motions, man, just to make it look, you know, like we're still a fucking respectable fucking nation, you know, with a respectable government, you know.
Yeah.
You know, still by the people for the people, right?
One nation under God's is
right. But we also got Putin trying to put nuclear bombs in space, and I guess that triggered a fucking national security warning.
freaking space lasers.
Right? Yeah, space lasers. We got space nukes, man. We got space everything, dude. Like, Space Force, bro. Yeah, everybody laughed at Trump about Space Force. They all laughed, didn't they? Everybody laughing now, man. Now we got trannies in space, bro. Thanks, Joe Biden.
I thought we were gonna get Jason in space, bro. Fuck.
Right. Yep. Instead, we got fucking shit. I can't remember its name now. You know, I'm talking about the thing.
Right, exactly. You know, I thought this is why you know, Reagan spent, you know, millions of dollars, you know, to what at the time would probably, you know, amount to billions in current fucking, you know, dollars, for, you know, our Star Wars program, right?
All right.
And we've only increased that since. Obviously, we you know, we have all these satellites in space, and you know, the fucking space station itself, and you know, I mean, you'd think that this wouldn't be an issue as far as, you know, monitoring it at minimum. You know what I mean? Like if you start to build that, son, we're gonna have issues, and that's it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, don't you know, no dumb shit. Let's not freak out. I mean, it's just a blatant fucking, hey pal, we'll murder everybody, and that's why, and you know, that's why they fear Trump, man. You know, the I'll melt the go domes fucking comments.
Right.
You know, it's exactly that. But it's a fear tactic. It's a fear tactic to get people to get behind the funding of Ukraine. That's all that shit is, man.
Oh yeah,
that's the like fucking fear Hitler's peace and help the Ukrainians defeat Hitler's, dude. You know what I mean?
Right. So what? I don't know, man. Because again, you know, we saw the whole fucking Putin and fucking Tucker interview and stuff. You know, of course, we know what we know about you know, the you know, Russia, Ukraine, fucking, and the American you know, backing and all that stuff. We know all that type of stuff from you know, people like Turley and all that. But the one thing that I'm kind of wondering about now is I didn't really know who this political opponent of Putin's was. I know that Putin's been in power since fucking like 20 some fucking years.
I believe it's been like 20 or 22, somewhere right around there. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, I didn't even think Putin had political rivals, you know. So it's news to me, you know. But from what I heard from
you know, they've put on a show of, you know, him and a couple of other guys like trading off as, you know, the president and the prime minister or whatever, you know, their structure is. But you know, he's always been there. You know what I'm saying? And like I said before that, he was running the KGB. So I mean, it's kind of like current shit. You know what I mean? I'm sure he was impacting elections and whatnot then.
But yeah, freaking. But again, you know, from all that I've really heard from about this dude is what I heard from Styx's analysis actually today. Basically, you know, Styx's analysis is basically that this dude was kind of like the Trump figure, not necessarily in any sort of Trump's mannerisms or, you know, I guess ideology. I guess maybe in some of his ideologies, you know, I guess he's anti-war, anti-expansionism, all that type of stuff. But basically in the fact that he was the leading front runner of the opposing political party, and basically he's been persecuted, right? And so that really kind of raises a lot of questions with Trump. I mean, not with Trump, with old Poopins, because we know old Poopins, he is an authoritarian, Like, you may like the guy, like, yes, he did, fix up the country and all this and that type of stuff, but he is ultimately an authoritarian. So when it comes to, a lot of the stuff like from the Tucker Carlson interview, again, like I said, it's all stuff that, we kind of know because, there's historical documents. There's, it's basically, it's just historically, like I say, you have a fucking big ass history lesson. And then there's things like the Minsk agreements and all that type of stuff. There's basically NATO expansionism. That's a well-known, topic. But again, I wonder how much is this actually Russian propaganda, because again, just because, like I said, Putin may have, cleaned up the country, and all this and that type of stuff. He may be a beloved person, he may, be a pretty good looking dude riding around with fucking horseback and all that shit. Definitely not no fucking Joe Biden or fucking anybody like that. But again, I don't know how much, I could even trust the dude, Again, I don't really trust anybody beyond, the American, people and stuff like that. But at the same time, when it comes to, basically him pointing out all the American corruption and all that type of stuff, how much actually is Russian propaganda and how much actually is, the truth?
I'm sure it's a fucking pretty hefty mix, man. And he runs that joint like he's the motherfucking boss player, and he's just like more of like conservative, orthodox. You know what I'm saying? Like traditional fucking Russian, man. You know what I mean? And as far as trust concerned, obviously you only trust a foreign country,
right,
to an extent. I mean, that's why, the whole, trade with all, political entanglements with none, right? And, it's, but there's greater weapons than nuclear weapons. To get back on the main topic, I mean, we have way worse weapons, right? I mean, we can literally control the weather, and people say that that's conspiracies when we know you got rich cats over in Dubai that make it rain for their daughter's birthday and shit, like literal fucking rain. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and the different weapons we have, smoke, weapons we've previously used. I mean, we have much deadlier things. Yeah. And I mean, as far as pure, agony and fucking destruction of life, yeah, we do. You know what I mean? Like flattening buildings and turning shit to ash, sure. But we got weapons now that we can murder everyone and still use the edifices and structures, man. You know what I'm saying? Anything that you know about is long played out, man. But I believe a lot of that, like you said, it is propaganda. Who knows if he's really loved? I'm sure that there's a portion, just like here, there's a portion that loves Trump and, a portion that completely despises him. I'm sure that's real similar. You see the pussy hatters there. They tried to do the same shit that they were doing here, and they got thrown in the fucking gulag. Like the dude doesn't put up with it, right? And, of course, right now, this is going to get at least me slayed, right? This is supposed to be the Liberties Bulls. But fucking dude, it's polled around the country, and it was a recent thing. I believe it came out either at the end of December or early January, and it was a poll taken where quite a few tens of thousands of people voted in it, and basically people are saying we need some type of authoritarian, to come in and clean the fucking joint up, man. And that's terrible to say. I mean, obviously no one wants to live under authoritarian rule, but at the same time, it's, fucking the weak men create, shitty times. I mean, right? It takes a strong man to come in and clean that up, right? You need a Pinochet. You need someone to come in that's going to fucking throw the commies out of helicopters, and let's get back to doing regular fucking business, man. You know what I'm saying? Someone with slightly un-American ideals, but trying to accomplish the American ideal. I mean, if that makes sense, And so, I mean, sometimes you got to do a little bad to do a lot of good. And unfortunately, I see it coming to that point, and you don't want to ever think it's going to be a widespread civil fucking conflict. We don't need another civil war, obviously. But, again, to an extent, something's got to give. You can't let a completely out of control political fucking paradigm destroy the country. You can't, let your edifices, whether it's judicial or political, be destroyed for the power of one side. I mean, we can't, you know what I mean? As a people, you can't let that happen.
Right. So if, based off of the whole, good times bringing about good times bringing about weak men and all that. Weak men bringing about hard times. In that case, I mean, I don't think you could change the natural cycle, in an authoritarian type way. Of course, like I say, I think a lot of the type of stuff, works for different countries and stuff like that. But when it comes to the cycle of stuff, I think we're still in the good times bringing about the weak, or I think we're in the weak men bringing about hard times. I don't think we're fully in hard times yet. I think we're in the weak men stage, and I think Trump coming in.
You're going. Is it bad enough? Is that where you're going? Is it bad enough yet?
No, I'm basically, either way, if it's not bad enough, it is going to get bad enough eventually. I'm trying to look at the point after it gets bad enough, right? So basically, Trump coming in would be a strong man coming in again, cleaning up the fucking place, fucking kicking ass, taking names, sending people back home and all that type shit,
Not even gonna have time though,
Right. And that's why I say that's what I'm getting to is I think that right now we are on the weak men times. And I think that those weak men are about to bring on the hard times. Because I don't think that weak men are, ready to get with the tough that are about to get going. I
think the hard times are going to be people taking fucking machetes in the street in broad daylight, like you see in third world countries, because they're pouring through, and you see the crime rate fucking absolutely skyrocketing, regardless of fucking leftist political rhetoric. You're seeing it across the inner zones every day. Almost every crime you see reported at this point involves some type of fucking either group or singular fucking illegal.
You're right. And at the same time, I think not to be a black pill, but I think it's FUBAR, But yeah, I think it's just too much for one administration, one man, to come in and change. And I think it's going to take
for a single term. Yeah.
Right. I think it's going to take a major cultural shift, and like we said on the whole spending thing, not going to happen. The Congress is not going to stop spending. That's an addiction that is so deeply embedded within the soul of Congress at this point. That's their most that's literally all that they do. Like that's literally all they fucking do. That's all they do is find ways to fucking spend money, And
and it sucks because you still do have some statesmen that try to push bills like Rand Paul. I mean, even Grandpa Munster Cruz have put forth bills trying to force a balanced budget, or at least to cut fucking spending back to pre-COVID. And like you're saying, dude, it's absolute harrowing.
Yeah,
they just can't quit, youth.
Yeah, it's almost kind of sad, dude. It's like you said, we're over there cheering on, like, yeah, fucking go Rand, yeah, fucking Massey's fucking them up and all this and that type shit, But then we also got to think those are really the only people that we're cheering on in a body of hundreds of people,
right? Yeah, like I said,
we got like 10. We got like 10 good guys, man. Like we're doing something,
Yeah, and like I said, unfortunately, it seems the vast majority of the America Firsters are in the lower chamber, man.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of influence in the Senate.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's going to take a really hard time to bring about that whole cultural change to basically where people are going to be like, you know what, matter of fact, those motherfuckers were dumb as fuck back there. We ain't doing nothing like that anymore ever again. Like we're going back to fucking, freedom, liberty, justice for all. There we go. That seems to be working.
But, declines start off slow and then they're fast, and then it happens overnight. You know what I mean? And I think that throughout history, you can look back. I think everything moved faster than what was predicted. Even now, like the current climate model, they're pushing like everyone's going to die. It's the boiling Earth. When in reality, a report just came out that scientists verifying that it's already past that 1.6 degree uptick that they said was doomed for all of us. You know what I mean? And that's an example of the wider world. I think with politics, it's the same way, and especially economics. I think we could wake up tomorrow and have, a fucking absolutely worthless fucking currency. And it sucks because there's literally a few things that could happen that would completely reverse it. But again, it would create real hard times but it would
Right.
be a culmination of, something greater. Like if you can handle a few years of rough times, everything's going to be great. But according to the CBO, with the current fucking economic models and whatnot, you're going to see a pretty large diminishing in your quality of life over the next 10 years, solely attributed to immigration. That's not even including, the debt and the GDP at this point going to be completely consumed by fucking interest payments. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. And like I say, it's a, I don't know, it's a daunting, thought, the whole economic shock therapy type thing, but again, it's almost inevitably necessary. And that's what I think, we're on that weak men phase. And I think that the next presidency is going to be the hard times phase. But
Yeah.
like I said, I think it's going to be the necessary hard times. Down to mass deportations. Again, we're going to have lots and lots and lots of rioting from the lefties. If any sort of a civil strife were to kick off, like I said, it's going to be from the lefties. It's not going to be from the MAGA the MAGA terrorists, right? And so then with the spending, that's something that I don't even see Trump talking about. He talks about bringing like work. He talks about bringing jobs. Deregulating markets, deregulating industries and stuff like that. But he doesn't talk anything about fucking shoring up the spending. Anything. That's basically. And again, that's solely a function of Congress. It's just to be clear. It's not like Trump can dictate. Oh, Congress better stop spending. But of course, he can choose to not sign bills, but. Again, there's a million different
And veto other ones.
stuff.
Yeah.
Right. There's a million different things. The thing is, the media is still going to be solely against Trump for that entire term, and so everything is going to be played against. Like, see, you guys thought that the Biden administration had bad inflation and stuff like that, and it's not even going to be inflation. It's probably going to be fucking deflation. It's going to be an economic reversal and stuff like that. It's going to be that economic shock therapy that's going to bring about actual hard times, and they're going to play that off as like, see, bet you guys wish you had Joe Biden back, right? Now you already know that's what they're going to do,
If you could do an absolute economic turnaround, regardless of fucking how fantastical, what tools would be your modus, man?
Deregulation.
Yeah.
Deregulation, fucking drill, baby, drill, fucking, I give a fuck, pump fucking chemicals into the goddamn ocean, kill those fucking seals. Fuck it. If it makes us fucking money and it's productive. Now, I'm just kidding. Not that fucking steep of deregulation, but a lot of the oh, we need fucking handicap stalls and everywhere that's open to the public. All that type of fucking stupid shit. Fucking let small businesses do what the fuck they do. Let local economies grow. Let fucking let people actually want to fucking try and work for that American dream. Make the American dream attainable again by basically fuck it, go out and get it, dude. We ain't gonna try and stop you no more.
Yeah, mine would be of course the old end the Fed, right? But before you did that, you take that almost worthless currency, right? And fucking dude, you purchase in to say like bricks, okay?
Yeah.
You use their shit against them. So fucking we want to float in some cash. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're not going to turn down an influx of money. They're wanting countries to invest, right? But they want your currencies to be based off of fucking something, right? Like a tangible good. So like China, you create a second fucking national currency, one for world trade and one for inner fucking trade. You know what I'm saying? And that so then you back it by like we just found massive fucking mineral deposits here in America, hundreds of tons of lithium, for instance. Some estimates saying that this is going to make it like the world's largest fucking composites. We're not set up at this point to process it. They're saying 10 to 15 years before we can have plants up big enough to process our own ores and shit. Basically, we're relying on China. So you back that currency with fucking raw fucking materials, man. You know what I'm saying? To us, that at this point, even though it's worth trillions of dollars, we can't use it.
Yeah.
So fucking back a trade currency with it and fucking, you know what I mean? Get down. Poison their well while paying ours down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Really. And you fire up the treasury. Then you end the Fed. You fire up the treasury. You give the power of the fucking purse back to our own fucking government. You know what I'm saying? And dude, you'd be amazed what some greenbacks will do.
They can. I actually kind of looked into that economic system, based off of tangible, usable stuff, basically, stuff
Yeah.
that we actually need, and it's actually called a basket of goods or bread basket or something like that. Bread basket economics, something like that. It's actually a Keynesian theory.
Hmm.
Now that's basically that's if that's how the whole BRICS nations is basically going to be, then that's basically a Keynesian theory of economics, where basically each country has their main good that is basically their reserve,
Right.
their reserve goods and stuff like that, and that's they use the value based off of their reserve goods to trade with the rest of the world and stuff. It's,
Yeah, like I mean, I know it as like resource or commodity based. You know what I'm saying? But like, dude, I mean, and again, you're only going to use this for a temporary time. You know
right.
what I mean? It's to pay down your debt to gain fucking value to your currency, and then then you completely change shit around, man. Then you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like I said, you're poisoning their well while paying your debt down, and by the end of it, you own a bunch of them, and you can shut their shit off. We have our plants running at that point, and we start making our own superconductors, and so on and so forth. Instead of 76% coming out
Yeah.
of China, that's the entire world, not just ours.
Shit. Chips Act Part 2.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
At that point, unfortunately, it's like this. But if you're anti-war, you should feel me. At this point, we're saying we're gonna fucking blow up the planet for Taiwan, right? The next war, and it's for what, right? It's for trade purposes. It's because we rely on them for fucking products, man. If we could produce those products ourselves, we have no reason to be involved in these fucking wars. And again, that's just an expenditure of billions and billions of dollars.
Yep. Yeah, really all of these wars are just to maintain our power, Like if we really if we weren't a unipolar world, if basically the Western world didn't rule over the world, if there was, basically if we were actually a free fucking market world, if we were able to just actually, compete with other nations, if we were able to have economic warfare as opposed to actual physical warfare, I think the world would be a lot more peaceful place and a lot more productive and better off for the world, But it's really just America needs to the West, NATO, fucking the Western alliances basically need to give up the fucking reins and allow again, and that's brings me back to the whole fucking how much is actually fucking Putin disinformation, how much is actually propaganda, because again, this is basically when you actually think about it,
they're doing better. Like you said, you watched the Tucker shit. He went to Russian McDonald's, got two
right.
cheeseburgers, a large Coke, a fucking slice of cake, and it was $7. He went to the grocery store, went grocery shopping for his entire staff for the week, and it was $400. You know what I'm saying? There's times my lady and I spend that.
and when you really think about it, like comparatively, if you look at our culture, just living in our culture, and then you look at other cultures and shit, it's really, really hard to argue that we're the good guys.
Yeah, especially with like Diary of an Economic Hitman. You know what I mean? Like you read these books, like you were talking about, we're the king of like coups and shit earlier. Exactly.
Yeah.
Everything that we, Russia's our enemies. We, they're subverting our elections. We've been subverting elections for fucking many decades, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's why the whole conservative kick. That's why 90% of people that could call themselves conservative these days are not, because what are you actually conserving? You know what I'm saying? Again, the American way is trade with everyone, political entanglements with none. It's America first. It's fucking build from inside out. And, we have the exact opposite. We're completely reliant on everyone else. We've become, a country of subservient servers. It's a service country. Nobody wants to get their hands dirty. They'd rather go fucking be a baristas at fucking, right. Starbucks or fucking Dutch Bros, whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? And, it's sad times, really.
Yeah. Straight fucking consumer-based fucking nation, man. We don't produce much anything anymore, other than war and military fucking arms and shit.
Service-based.
That's our industry.
we're a country of bars, hotels, and fucking stores and restaurants. That's
Yeah.
it, man.
And trannies.
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking
Fucking mutants.
abortion clinics and fucking yeah. But I think the one thing that again, one thing that makes me really iffy about fucking Putin and whether or not he's real, because it really is a real thing. Like I mean, you saw the way that Tucker was asking Putin and stuff like well, would if we were to be allowed into NATO, like would you actually bring Russia into NATO, like and actually play along with the fucking with NATO and shit, like and he's like, yeah, like that's honestly the best thing for my country. Like why wouldn't I? Again,
he said he tried on multiple occasions with multiple presidents, and he was pretty adamant about you can Google the dates and times that I was there in America at the White House or what have you. You know what I mean? Like name specific dates and whatnot. So
like I believe that. What I am afraid of, what I fear, blowback, man. Again, this, like I said, this is literally convincing us, convincing the United States, convincing these fucking warmongers and these bureaucrats and politicians to give up the reins of world power and to share it with the rest of the world. After decades of us basically subverting every other fucking political system in the world, it's my fear is
power to begin with,
right? My fear is fucking blowback, Like,
yeah, of course, that's always an issue.
We have a lot of enemies around the world, and if we, it really is, kind of true. You do have to take into account that, if we were to just weaken ourselves a little bit, just to make it so that we step back a bit, we really kind of are, inviting ourselves for retaliation, At least,
and that's where those open borders are coming in, man. That's why you're seeing tens of thousands of Chinese nationals and tons of fucking, Palestinians and so on and so forth.
Yep.
Can't say too much, right? Because the Jews' tubes, they'll smack you around because you're racisms, but
as a sign of good faith, fucking Putin goes ahead and sends down, a couple, a bit of arms down to the boys down there in Texas.
Right.
Why don't you go build some nations down there, Putin?
Right. I mean, there is things he did though, like they banned fucking GMOs there, man. I mean, there's a lot of shit that we pour in our bodies that's pure poison. That's banned in fucking most Western countries, and he's right up there with them, dude. I mean, he's made some wise decisions for his people. Hate the guy, love the guy, indifferent, whatever the case. You can't deny that fact, man.
Yeah. Oh, hit me a dab real quick, man.
Right. And even with the, we can't just let Ukraine's be invaded by Hitler's fucking peace Putins. It's, dude, again, that's calling the kettle. I mean, I think we've been at peace maybe, like 3 years in my entire lifespan.
Right. Yeah. I don't think we've ever been at peace in my fucking lifespan.
I think total maybe 30 years or some shit, like since our fucking existence. That's a pretty fucked up fucking stat, man.
Do you think because I've been looking into why Congress doesn't declare war anymore, and the reason they gave is basically that it's an evolving world in terms of war. Things aren't necessarily fought in the ways of formal declarations anymore. Things are fought by terrorists. Things are fought by fucking economic warfare. Things are fought by digital and information warfares and stuff like that. It's not the same that it was anymore. It's basically we could be constantly being attacked at all fucking times and we don't even know it. And it's just because the fact that all those fucking emails you got and shit like that, that's all cyber warfare and shit like that. So do you think basically the National Defense Authorization Act is justified, or obviously it's completely in contrast with the Constitution, right? Like in the powers to declare war, rest solely within Congress. But at the same time, we haven't necessarily declared war since World War II. Everything else has just been, special operation. You're like, oh no, just we have to respond to this, rather quickly. Or do you think that's the case, or do I mean, what's your thoughts on the NDA?
I think it's a seating of. I mean, the NDAA.
Not the NDA. The use of Fourth Authorization Act.
All right. It's as far as that's concerned, it's Congress ceding their fucking responsibilities, their power onto the executive, like they've done everything. I mean, they gave up the power of the purse, basically. The Treasury basically is null and void. It's just a term, you know what I mean? The Federal Reserve's in charge. They ceded, their power to declare war. They acquiesce to executive orders. They, rarely fight them and shit. I mean, they've just ceded power. They like the branches are fucking intertwined at this point, man.
Right. But I mean, do you agree with their reasoning that basically, warfare has changed and it's not necessarily,
No, like I said, to me, it's just a ceding of power. It's just literal excuses to not do your fucking job. I mean, these people work like 100 days a year, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why they don't have time to fucking talk about declaring war. They're on fucking vacation. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it boils down to. And obviously, if Congress wants to, they can act quickly. I mean, let's not fucking act retarded, right? Like, you've got a job, fucking go there and vote. It's that fucking simple. This happened. Should we get involved? Okay. Do we fucking put up a motion to fucking officially declare it? Yep. There you go. Sign it off, buddy. It's that fucking easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're just lazy fucks, lazy, entitled, elite pieces of fucking lizard fucking excrement, dude.
Yeah. So while I do agree that warfare has changed, especially as the world grows smaller and smaller every year.
There's always been guerrilla warfare.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not disagreeing at all. I'm just expanding on it. So I do agree, that war has changed. I don't believe that the causes for retaliation have necessarily changed. I think that basically that power rests solely within Congress because of the fact that it's going to take a couple weeks. It's going to take about a week or two of fucking debating before we actually come to a decision on it. I don't think things like declaring war or things like going and invading foreign countries or fucking retaliation, I don't think those are things that should be made, on a drop of a dime. When you're in an emotional state, when you've just been attacked, when you're feeling vulnerable, when you what the fuck just happened, I don't.
It
think
depends on if the attack's ongoing. You know what I mean? If it's like a 9/11 thing or something,
well,
like that's something different. You know what I mean?
I think that's where part two is baked in. Not part two. Amendment number 2 is baked into our Constitution. If it's an ongoing attack, on our homeland, defend your fucking selves. If there's fucking Habibs, fucking shoot the motherfuckers. Like that. That's why we have the Second Amendment. Because Congress, if it's a fight on the homeland, being necessary to the free state, well-regulated militia. The thing, man.
Right. But you're going to be charged with a hate crime.
Well, nowadays,
yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think a lot of this stuff was intended for. Congress really only needs to act when it comes to sending our troops away. When it comes to the homeland, that's on each and every citizen of America to defend the homeland. That's not. I mean, that's
the militia, man.
Right. And when it comes to retaliation in foreign wars, that's why those powers rest solely in Congress, because we need to think carefully about that. We need to think about, blowback. We need to think about, the repercussions. We need to think about, can we afford this right now? We need to think about, everything, literally everything, before we decide to fucking send our children off to die. Like it's not a decision that just needs to be made by some generals and behind closed doors, in secret.
Absolutely, but at the same time, you are right. Like, it has changed. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, fucking, it's changed to a point to where you don't even need to be in the vicinity. I mean, we can conduct war from thousands of miles away at this point, man. And you see the comment on YouTube says the open border was not a problem until 1935, and Roosevelt started the welfare state. And that's absolutely fucking true.
Right.
And that's where the libertarian fucking confusion comes in. When you have the left-leaning libertarians talking open borders, you have to completely end that welfare state and any type of fucking handouts. The incentive is to come here, get a job, fucking, coalesce and go through the process. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yes. The whole thing when it comes to, the American dream is basically you get it on your own. The American dream isn't fucking hand me outs and gimme that's and shit, and that's basically what it's turned into. And, like you said, it's from, back in 35, once we became a fucking welfare state. And that's, really what's led to the degradation of America. That's why, America, we allowed people to come here before. That's why it wasn't a big deal, because when people came here, they came here so they could fucking make it on their own. They came here because they were actually, escaping, political persecution or whatever, or they came here because, again, they wanted to be free, to survive off of their own fucking wit and their own, elbow grease and shit. But
people came here because they wanted to be American. Like they would change their names, man. You know what I'm saying? You can go ahead and read that one.
Yeah. It says, Valiant Thor says, if you sneak into Disneyland, should they let you stay if you get caught? And once you've been caught, should they give you meal money and let you ride the rides for free?
Well, fuck yeah. No, of course not. Fucking of course not.
I'm going to Disneyland.
Right.
Yeah. That's basically what we have going on at our border. They basically turned this place into a hedonistic Disneyland of a nation, and that's what we become. It's basically like we say, everything here is about entertainment. That's why we have no sense of moral direction within our nation anymore. That's why our nation is, literally in the verge of collapse. We're in the age of decadence here in America, and the people can't pull their heads out of their asses to even see the forest for the trees anymore. And that's what we've come to here.
Yeah, you're seeing some of the worst, some of the most asinine shit I've ever seen. Like people, illegals attacking cops in fucking New York and being set free with no bail. You know what I mean? Off to commit another crime, man.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, dude was arrested again, just a couple days ago, for armed robbery, being part of a robbery. Yeah, being part of a robbery gang. You know what I mean? And then you've seen in Michigan now recently, just came over there on their Channel 4 News talking about there's an illegal gang that's roving, one of the richest counties in the country, which is all like Ford executives and whatnot. And they've already stole millions of dollars in jewelry and, firearms. They're stealing whole safes, all sorts of shit.
Fucking A, man. At least the crime rates are low, man. Why? Because it's not a crime anymore, man. It's okay. We've reduced crime rates here drastically. Fucking clown world, dude. It really is. It's 1984. It's double plus good.
Yeah.
That's like I said. It's really hard to argue that we're the good guys over here.
For sure.
I mean, again. I love America. America's my fucking homeland. America will always be my homeland. But I've never lived in what America stands for. Like I have never lived in that country before. I've never lived in the land of the free and the home of the brave before. Like that's not my reality.
I mean, obviously, I didn't live in the 1776 idea of free, but I did live through what I believe to be the zenith of fucking, American life, which was, the 80s and 90s, man. And,
but I mean,
that's a good point. Did you see this comment here? 1700 years ago, illegal immigration led to the collapse of one of the biggest political and military powers humankind has ever known. Yep. Obviously, Rome. We are fucking Rome.
Right.
For real. For sure.
Yeah. It's that thing I was showing you earlier about maturation.
Sub, right?
Actually, hell yeah. Appreciate it, bro. Yeah, that's like we were talking about earlier, the process of governmental maturation. Let me pull it up real quick. I've been messing around with Chat GPT lately, you guys. All right, I've been fucking around with it, and I mainly just use it, not to ask any sort of specific questions, but more or less just to get some roundabout information, especially based off of stuff that I already kind of know about, just to kind of refresh my memory, make sure that like I'm remembering stuff correctly. So I asked it to basically describe me the process of maturation. All right, so I said, describe the process of government maturation and how it can lead to collapse. And it says the process of governmental maturation involves the evolution and development of a government and its institutions over time. This maturation can occur through various mechanisms, including legal reforms, changes in governance structures, shifts in political power, and societal developments. As a government matures, it typically seeks to address challenges and adapt to changes circumstances in order to better serve its population and maintain stability. However, there are several factors that can contribute to the potential collapse of a maturing government. These include: 1. Corruption and decay. Over time, a government may become increasingly prone to corruption, inefficiency, and institutional decay. This can erode public trust, diminish the effectiveness of governance, and undermine the legitimacy of the government. Number 2, failure to adapt. Governments that fail to adapt to changing societal, economic, or technological conditions may become obsolete and ineffective in meeting the needs of the population. The lack of response to shifting circumstances can lead to discontent and the loss of legitimacy. Number 3, authoritarianism and repression. Some maturing governments may become increasingly authoritarian, relying on repression and coercion to maintain power. Sound familiar? This can lead to This can lead to social unrest, resistance, and potential collapse in the face of widespread opposition. 4, economic instability. Persistent economic challenges such as high levels of inequality, unemployment, or fiscal mismanagement can strain a government's capacity to maintain stability and provide for the well-being of the population. And 5, external pressures. External factors such as geopolitical conflicts, international sanctions, or dependency on unstable global markets can add pressure to a maturing government and contribute to its collapse. Overall, the process of governmental maturation is deeply influenced by the interplay of social, economic, and political dynamics. The capacity of a government to address the internal and external challenges and maintain legitimacy and respond effectively to the needs of its population is pivotal in determining its long-term stability and resilience. Right? And it's basically a breakdown of how societies grow, develop, plateau, collapse. Right? And basically that's the process of maturation is, when things are new, they're great. Things are on the up and up. You can't go anywhere but up from here, right? And then they kind of stagnate for a while, and then they start to, decline into, those sorts of processes that we saw there, and during that,
and just like anything, like if you fall with your own fucking, your own inertia and gravity, it's going to get faster as you plummet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I was just speaking on with you, in economic collapse, it starts off slow and then it speeds up real quick, right?
Right.
And I believe it's the same thing with political decay, man.
Right. Didn't they say something about like we're supposed to, we're on the track to be like 55 trillion in debt by 2030?
Yeah. It's set to at a minimum of fucking 19 trillion by like 2032. So yeah.
Right. And
it's good times.
That's at this point, exponential, growth. It's far beyond what we've seen before, and it's basically like I said, it's not showing any signs of stopping anytime soon. It's basically we are on the verge of economic collapse. So it's kind of at this point, count your fucking chickens and shit, and keep them close, because that's going to be all you got, before you know it.
Just think if we actually used funds like, the hundreds of billions that we borrowed to send to Ukraine, if you even used a small portion of that for, for instance, job training, for, the processing of fucking lithium ore, You know what I
Right.
mean? Or the old Ian scheme. You know, let's get some
Right.
graphite shit going,
Fucking
man.
pull that shit out the air, bro.
Right, right. Even if it's stockpiled, you know what I mean, for future use. Even if you can't use it at this time, again, that's jobs. Let's start building these fucking plants.
Right.
And it's a sacrifice for the current for a massive uptick in the future, man. And we seem to not be ones to invest in our own future at this point, man. We're investing in our demise and using our kids as fucking our great grandkids as futures as fucking
Right.
collateral.
It's like fucking Bongino's been saying, man, all of our politicians have the fucking Xerxes coins in their fucking pockets right now. They're selling us out in hopes that they fucking maintain favor, within the elite, social circles of the world.
Yeah, they always think they're going to be part of the inner party.
Right.
As the saying goes.
A lot of them are, the fucking the Clinton families, the Obamas, fucking all those motherfuckers. They'll probably be part of the global inner circle after.
If you learn anything from history, though, like Stalin, they'll be airbrushed out of the motherfucking
Right.
picture, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And then again, that's why I say America's at a very, very pivotal moment right now. That's why I say it's really kind of based off of human nature. You would think that as soon as America lets its guard down, the rest of the world is going to come fucking kicking our fucking skulls in and shit. Just because of the way that we've been for the past several decades. And so we're at really kind of iffy times right now. I mean, it's really like I say, I don't really know. Again, I'm anti fucking neocon, I'm anti-war and all that shit, but like it's, at the same time, you want to think that the world would give peace a chance, but at the same time, we haven't done that. So you shouldn't expect it from the rest of the world.
First term Ronald Reagan tried to tell you, man. You know what I mean? Like if America falls, the world falls. This is the last bastion of liberty, and you're watching it be stripped away at an ever increasing speed, man.
All right. Yeah. Hey, you don't want to get too black pilled and shit, but I don't know, man. Like I said, as long as humanity survives, then it's not all for naught, And that's really all that matters is as long as life survives. Once you really get down to the nitty gritty of the point, it's not about nation, it's not about economics, it's not about anything beyond survival. And that's really what it boils down to. Of course, at this point, we are very, very complex in how we survive. And that's why we have all the conflicts and stuff that we do now. But at the end of the day, fuck it, dude. As long as humanity survives in some sort of fucking way, the main thing we got to get off of this motherfucking rock. And that's why I'm glad that at least maybe, 0.1% or, 0.5%,
there's got to be an Elon in the fucking America's future then, man, because SpaceX needs to be a national fucking project,
Yep. That's it.
I mean, it is to an extent, right? We just like everything, again, seeding power and fucking technology and what have you. We fucking rely on SpaceX to basically transport our fucking astronauts to and from the space station and whatnot at this point. You might as well move it into that role. And of course, the only reason that they don't is because they can't have someone have as much or more power than them. And, everything's, it's, Amazon and, fucking Google's not a monopoly, but of course that would be a monopoly because Elon would be in charge. You know what I'm saying? It's fuck. Really. I mean, it's an expenditure of resources and labor for frivolous bullshit when we could be concentrating on things like that, man. You know what I mean? The furthering of mankind into fucking the void.
I think they're just content with raining over the ashes, man.
That's a pretty shitty thought, man. You know what I mean? Fuck. And that's why they're building their bunkers. Yeah. But while they're telling you, the sea levels are going to rise, you got fucking, Zucker fucking bird building underground bunkers on an island. You know what I'm saying?
They're all going to be living in their yellow submarines and shit.
I mean, obviously, if he's building underground in an island, the sea ain't going nowhere, bro. I mean, Plymouth Rock is still there. I mean, it's still on the same line as the Statue of Liberty where it was when that bitch was posted up. And like I said earlier, scientists have already said we've already passed that 1.6 degrees Celsius uptick, man. So I don't know what to tell you.
Shit. Again, the like I said, the one thing that I guess kind of makes me white pills in the whole thing as a fuck it, as long as humanity survives in one way or another, and then that's all that really matters, is the fact that I know that if we were to, take humanity and be able to explore into space, and fucking we'll have a whole space station that will travel to fucking galaxies and all this and that. And then as we, develop and spend hundreds of thousands of years within this space station, our people will learn to maintain it. It'll be God to our people and this and that. And we travel on. I know that 90% of humanity is going to be left behind here to die.
Yeah.
And we're probably included within that 90%.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I'm not a physicist. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm sure expendable. You know what I mean? But it just, worker bees basically. But, it's for the furthering of fucking our species. I mean, I guess I'm willing to go down with the ships, huh? You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But it will be a generational ship, like you're saying, man. That's a pretty crazy thought. And they're actually talking about different propulsion systems. There's one that supposedly is going to be unveiled to the public soon. It's the government's new propulsion system, and it's supposed to break some laws of physics, apparently, man. You know what I mean? Fucking who knows, right? And of course, anything that they show you is, it's like I was saying earlier, it's already basically old technology as far as, the Black Ops are concerned, man. And, but, talking about the way to keep it going is not us repairing it, because obviously that's a whole thing, being out in space and shit. Right. And especially to be moving at a speed that you're actually going to get somewhere. But they're talking self-repair as far as, smart technology. AI and robotics and whatnot. Yeah, as far as the repair is concerned. And basically having a membrane, like a type of membrane that will absorb fucking not only rays of the sun like a solar shit, but absorb energy from, nuclear fucking implosions. And it's not explosions, because can't do that in space, but it still creates a similar energy, and it would absorb that shit. You know what I mean? Pretty cool theory, man.
Fuck yeah. Like I said, I think that's the goal of humanity. I think that's literally our purpose. Fucking shit, space exploration is fucking like.
You think you don't think? What about the theory that that's actually a yearning, like as far as like, you're not from here. It's like a genetic memory, and it's it's faded through time, of course. But you can see with our ancestors, they were obsessed with shit in the sky. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I mean, obviously, the whole thing is, well, there wasn't light pollution, so they could see more, yada, yada. But, you see the shit in carvings, paintings, so forth. That shit, that's not seeing just like a shooting star or something. So. Right. You know what I mean? Right. Regardless if it was, hallucinogens or fucking imagination or a combination, it's,
What? I've actually kind of thought about it maybe a little bit, and I think there could be a possibility that before writing and all this and that type stuff, that maybe we did actually do some like type stuff where we were able to make a magnifier to where we were able to actually see what's up there. Because of course, early humanity, once they're able to get self-reflective thought and all that type of stuff, the first thing they're going to start doing is trying to figure out everything around them. The most one weirdest thing that's completely unattainable that you can't get to is the sky. So of course that's the first thing that they're going to look at, and I think maybe we could have actually known, because there's so many there's so much fucking technology and shit like that humanity has had that we just forgot. Like there's fucking languages, fucking entire cultures, there's entire fucking religions. There's so much shit. We maybe have like 1% of actual human history, that actual recorded human history that's actually survived, and so I think we probably have just always known that it's fucking stars and shit like that. Just the first person to actually come out and come out with a telescope and say it, during the literate age and the age of science and recording stuff and all that type of stuff. that's the person that's going to get the credit for actually, proving it and stuff. I think we've really kind of known, at least, the more intelligent, people within humanity, like early primitive humanity. I think they've always kind of had like at least a rudimentary grasp on, the heavens,
The most accurate fucking star chart and calendar known, from antiquity is actually the Aztecian fucking calendar and star charts, or Mayans. You know what I'm saying? Between the two there, and codexes only to survive, but one of them has star charts that are just superbly fucking accurate over centuries of period. And so yeah, there's definitely, that's what they did. I mean, they had a lot of time in their hands, like at night you could see. So, I mean, it was a lot easier to study without, light pollution and what have you. But even them, as far as antiquity goes, supremely advanced in that aspect. And they had in-depth stories of things coming from the sky.
Right.
And I mean, then, second to that antiquity wise would be Assyrians. And like, you read the Epic of Gilgamesh. And again, I mean, they mention a lot of things that's in the Bible, but written thousands of years pre-Bible, and pretty fucking amazing stories. Like I said, great detail, and especially with being taken up into the sky and explains topography, like that person is in the sky or has experienced that firsthand. Pretty fucking insane, man.
Oh yeah, I kind of wonder, like how, like, if the human brain really has evolved, or just our repertoire of knowledge has just expanded over time. Like, I wonder if maybe we have the exact same brain that we've always had for the last several millennia, and just over time we just have developed our repertoire of knowledge. Because shit,
I don't even think it's that. I think it's a loss of knowledge. Yeah. Natural catastrophes, fucking, your survival instinct kicks in. You're teaching your kid how to fucking feed itself and shelter itself, rather than history and, fucking mathematics and whatnot. You know what I mean? It's when it comes to like a flood or, major fucking cataclysm. I mean, that's, that's all it's about, is survival. So much information is lost, That's where where people with amnesia comes in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, we know for sure, like recently in the Baltic Ocean, where they found, a city that's over 11,000 years old. I mean, so, I mean, these people were there. I mean, it's just when things happen like that, the fucking massive flood comes in, the place gets engulfed in water. Now the island's in the fucking sea. Any survivors, you're not even worrying about trying to explain the stars. You know what I mean?
You're worrying about trying to like, all right, these fruits you can eat, these ones you shouldn't. That's the knowledge you're trying to get again. Like,
yeah, let's get a fucking fire going out this bitch, man.
Right. Yeah. You can't forget to rule out, man. Another thing that's always ruined societies and lost cultures and really talented people. White supremacy and colonizations.
Right.
Wiping out the indigenous ways.
The destructor of all man, dude. The worst humans has the offers.
And like, why aren't we worshiping the antelopes anymore, you guys? You guys did that. Like, maybe
you made Jesus
something.
White.
Right. And we'll never fucking know. Yeah, but yeah, that's why I choose to live in the now, and basically anything that you could base off of reality, throughout history. Yeah, throughout history, you could always kind of see that things tend to go in the way of I guess reality. Like, and that's not even to say that things get better, or things go in the way of good, or things go in the way of bad, or anything. I think it just kind of goes whichever way it goes, based off of what reality is, like and based off of circumstances and all that type of shit. I forgot what the fuck I was saying. I'm stoned, man. But
yeah, it's time that on that note, man, it's time for the show to respond with.
Which way do you think that we evolved, man? Do you think that we evolved based off of I've been reading more about evolution lately. There's a couple different ways, right? So there's the Darwinian way, which is basically life is just random, and we're basically whatever circumstances happen to pop up at that given time, that's the adaptations that that species is going to end up taking on and developing over time. There's the one I've told you about, orthogenesis.
But what about black Genesis, buddy?
Right.
Really staying on that same topic, man. I mean, it's an alternate theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess orthogenesis would basically be that life is moving toward a certain, or life in general is moving in a direction of something, which is basically intelligent life, and then wherever we're eventually moving to, which is basically what guides and gives direction, is some sort of divine energy within the universe. That's basically orthogenesis. That's the idea that basically we are designed, we're intelligently designed by some sort of universal creator type thing. And then there's what's called punctuated equilibrium. I actually just found this one out not too long ago, and it's basically that things basically like the tree of life would go like do 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 spoop or doop, and then do 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 do. And so basically it's saying that there's moments of punctuation, which would be cataclysms, ice age, and everything. It changes everything. It changes the way that animals live, changes the way that they eat, changes their body parts because they have to adapt to a massively cataclysmically changed environment. And but the equilibrium part is the opposite. It's basically these long periods, these long periods of everything staying the same, nothing changing. Right. Basically, nothing evolves, nothing, actually it's basically completely stagnant until some major cataclysm comes upon the earth, and then basically it's a whole new subset, and basically everything that survived, they're going to evolve something new.
Right, subspecies, and yeah, it's a good theory. I mean, I could definitely see the logic behind that, no doubt, man. That's forced evolution, basically. Fucking, right. That's
they base that theory off of gaps in fossil records, based on the fact that they'll have long periods of one certain species, and then it seems like all of a sudden, boom, we have a different one. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely we're currently in one now. We're overdue for fucking major shit, as they constantly, it's times it changes. This has actually been a relatively calm time, as far as global upheaval and whatnot. So we've been lucky, especially volcanoes erupting. Mount St. Helens is past due, so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
But the Black Genesis, of course, is sticking with that whole kind of antiquity and space theorem and whatnot, but it's basically Assyrian and Sumerian, and of course it's that base from the 12th planet, which people love to call it the Anunnakis, you know what I mean? But basically it's we were bred, you know what I mean, for slave labor, man. Animals that were here that naturally evolved, they were experimented with their DNA, and that's where the whole, in our image supposedly comes from. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And, again, this is pre-Bible shit. This is, Assyrian and Sumerian. And, that's you're bred for slave labor to be smart enough to, to run the mines and run the tools, but not to overthrow the joint. You know? And that the 12th planet, which is on elliptical orbit, only comes around every 30,000 years. And those are cycles when there's global upheaval and whatnot, fucking, tectonic shifts and fucking eruptions. And it's caused by, gravitational fields with that incoming larger body. And, obviously wreaks havoc, but they come to get what supposedly has been sown, which is gold, which they use to pulverize and put in their atmosphere to fucking retain heat on that elliptical orbit, dude. Crazy fucking theory, but extremely in depth, man. Black Genesis, translated by Zachariah Sitchin. Pretty crazy shit. It's one of the books in his Earth Chronicles, man. Anyone, still listening, 2 hours in, you guys, I highly recommend that series. I promise you won't regret it, man.
Oh yeah. Like my theory on basically when it comes to extraterrestrial life and stuff like that is you know, like when people always like about like, oh, like if they were here, like wouldn't they just enslave us and stuff like that? I don't know. Like when it comes to my idea of extraterrestrial life, again, I think it'd be on the early uptick. You know, it'd basically be, you know, emerging. You know, it could be us. We could be the first aliens in the universe. You know, we could be the first people that you know, explore beyond our planet. You know, the first forms of life that, you know, happen to evolve on a planet and, you know, grow intelligent enough that we became so self-aware and, you know, aware of the universe around us that we were able to fucking master the universe around us. Like, shit, we could be that first, you know, species to ever happen in the entire universe, you know. And then I think what our goal would be, if we were to find another planet similar to ours that has a very young emerging life, so in order to get to that place, we would have to pretty much be a unified species, you know. And that's why I say, you know, it'd probably only take about 10% of us. The rest would be left behind to die, you know. And so we'd have to be a you know, basically a unified species. And I think when we get to that other planet that has life, I think one thing that people always need is in opposition, you know. And I think that, you know, once we come to a whole unified species that's traveling the galaxies and stuff looking for other life, I think we're gonna
find Xeno P Putins.
But I think, you know, if we were to find like a very, very primitive life, I think we would try and stand back, or, you know, maybe try and, you know, give it some sort of a, you know, slight push in the right direction. I think, you know, possibly the whole the intergalactic federation type thing could be a thing. You know, it could be an idea. It could be something that basically life that is able to evolve beyond its planet would be the best means of survival for basically all life within the universe, you know. Would basically be to not enslave the first other living thing that I've seen within this desolate, you know, infinitely mind-boggling amount of space. You know, the first time I find another living thing, I'm gonna fucking make it my slave.
Right.
You know, like,
right.
No,
I'd yet, like, let's see what it tastes like.
right. No, I'd be like, fuck, dude, like, please let me know. Please tell me there's something intelligent down there that I could communicate with. And if not, then I'd be like, oh fuck, let me go ahead and sprinkle a little magic on there real quick, and we'll be back in a couple 100,000 years, see what happens, you know. See if there's somebody to talk to when we get there, you know. Like that's what I'd be thinking, that, you know, life would be trying to do that has evolved to travel space, you know.
Yeah, and at that same time, though, knowing our own mistakes, you wouldn't even want to interfere for the simple fact that you wouldn't want them to evolve like we did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Either
you don't
that,
want them to go through their Cold Wars and World War IIs and fucking, you know.
Maybe they'd have to maybe we'd understand that that's a process that they do have to go through, you know, in order to understand, you know, why you need to come together as a unified species or something, you know. Again, I think, you know, all this, these world wars, all these, you know, civil wars, all basically, you know, all human war. I think the fact that we're the only species that really kind of wages war on each other is it's telling of something, you know. I think that's basically the thing that we need to evolve beyond, you know. And again, you know,
Right, we're not, though. If fucking apes do, ants
yeah.
do, fucking, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a lot of species on the planet that go to war, man.
Well, now
You know,
there's been a lot more, you know, within the primate, you know, region as of late, especially, which why I think, you know, evolution is gradual. I don't think it happens based off of individual cataclysms and stuff. I do think it is a, you know, gradual. I think it's basically, you know, grows over time and you know, natural selection, and basically it's leading toward intelligent life that is meant to. I think the universe itself, you know, basically made, you know, when these Goldilocks planets happened to form, you know, there was those certain spots that were going to form that way, and, you know, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say but the universe basically, that's the only spot that's going to have any sort of chance to grow intelligent life. That's basically the anomaly of time and space. Yes, you know.
right. As far as we're aware, though, I mean, you know, all that's theory based off of our own fucking evolution and ideas, and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's things that could completely defy anything that you've ever considered. You know what I mean? And I mean, there's plenty of fucking books on there with conjecture of, the way life forms would have to evolve to live on certain types of planets with, certain types of gases in the atmosphere and whatnot, man, certain temperatures, pressure. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many different aspects that, go into that consideration that could totally change. I mean, we know for sure that we have beings on this planet that live in 300-degree areas in underwater, volcanoes that, live on sulfur and shit. You know what I'm saying? Something that we never thought possible until just recent time. You know what I mean? So, in reality, we have no idea what the universe could produce and, how plentiful it is.
I'm sure it could produce lots of stuff, but that's why I'm saying the stuff isn't what's the point. The point is intelligence.
But I mean, again, though, an octopus is more intelligent than you are. You know what I mean?
Well,
it just doesn't have the lifespan. It doesn't have the lifespan to build on that intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Like, it only lives an average of like 3 years. That's, I mean, that's
an evolutionary mistake on its part. Then that's what I'm saying.
But I mean, but the point is that, what amounts to intelligence again is solely subjective, man. You know what I mean? And I mean, it's the universe again. There's things out there that the human mind cannot even, has a conceptual grasp of, like it just about. I mean, we know, very little, really. I mean, and all the time. I mean, you see on a regular basis how they're like, we think we found another habitable planet. I mean, there's been, at least a couple of tens named in the last 2 years. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And that's, like I say, that's really just because we got the technology, the know how to do so now.
Yeah, it's satellites in space hooked up with fucking telescopes and whatnot. Fucking, it's crazy though that it can send you clear photos, but yet they don't have any clear photos of certain aspects of J6 or bombers or what I mean. It's always some blurry shit.
It's because it's a show, it's a theater, it's a game, it's not real, that's, like I say, there's really only a small percent of humanity that's actually working toward, bettering humanity. All the rest of it is just flinging shit at each other.
There's a whole nother sect of people that, especially crews of the inner zones, of course, that believe that it's the opposite, man. That all those clear photos that you're getting back from the depths of space and shit, that's not real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like,
could be too. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, that's some AI generated shit. That's, Stanley Kerbeck on another level. You know what I mean?
Right. But then, I mean, in that place, in that place, I mean, other than government funding and stuff, what would really be the point? It's not like they become world famous and fucking, loved world around for their discoveries. It gets a fucking, page 4 in a newspaper,
It funds black ops. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And then, like I said, that when you really get down the conspiracy, fucking black holes and shit, the rabbit holes, like there actually is no fucking universe, man. It's a fucking glass ceiling, bro. Like,
it's Matrix, man. We live under a dome.
Right.
Yep. Some pretty wild shit out there, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I think fucking space exploration is going to be the cure to nihilism if we don't die from it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like you said, we'll be left to die. We probably won't even see the beginning stages of actually fucking leaving. You know what I mean? Like right now, it's just let's just rotate around the planet. We lost the technology to go to the moon that we had 50 years ago.
What if they know that, another ice age is coming and they have the fucking technology already? They're just trying to fucking global warming. Everybody give us your money. We got projects to work on. Like they're working on their own spaceships to get the fuck out of here. Like
that or, like Zuck, he's going to have the most expensive home ever built in the history of fucking man. Right. You know what I'm saying? That it equates more to, fucking emperors and shit, dude. Yeah. That's fucking insane, man. And a large portion of it's all underground bunker, dude. He doesn't plan on leaving, son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're gonna rule over the cyborg
He
people.
plans on being the lizard overlord. That's why he's been fighting UFC for the past years and stuff. He's getting ready, son.
Right. You know, that's one thing that I fucking think is just, just a thought that I had that's fucking hilarious, man. Like the whole thing, like, all right, so we, fucking fuck yeah, we finally made some people smart enough. We're gonna go send them out in their spaceship, and they're gonna be doing great, and fucking they're gonna travel the fucking they're gonna we've made our mark on the universe, you guys. Like we can die on Earth in peace now. Like we know that our species is gonna go out there. They fucking take off and they make it like past Saturn and fucking have a malfunction and blow up and shit. Like
fucking terrible, man.
Like, fuck, man. We put all of our eggs in that one basket.
Right.
Well, I guess life has to start again from fucking protoplasms, man. Fuck, man. Could you imagine like how many times has that happened in the universe? Like if
just set up a seeding module underneath, man, so that way if that happens, dude, that bitch just busts off and it goes seed some planet.
You're right.
With some shit that's gonna start the terraforming.
And just bust a nut in the universe and shit.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah. Yep.
Humanity
mode,
out.
Yeah,
right?
We'll be back in fucking couple billion.
Yeah, that'd be fucking. Or just imagine like, dude, just imagine like, how many times could that have happened? Like, theoretically, I mean, the fucking universe is billions and billions and billions of years old and shit. I mean,
right.
Shit. Humanity has only been around for thousands and I guess hundreds of thousands of years, but still just recorded history has been like what, like 10,000 years, some shit like that. And we've
like
come this far.
Yeah, that's where I was getting at earlier with the, like the whole theorem of us not being from here. I mean, there's aspects that they point to physically. Like the reason you have back pain is because you're from somewhere with a fucking higher sense of gravity. Your skin burns in the sun because you're from a planet that's further from the sun. Like there's a lot of crazy theories with that, man.
Right. I don't know, man. Like I said, I think either way, we just life would have adapted, over this amount of time.
And I mean, we have adapted to the point that we're fine living here and shit. You know what I mean? It's just there's still effects on you, like I said, and like your eyes, for instance. You know what I mean? Like too bright of light fucks with your eyes. You can't see in the dark. Again, you're from a planet that's further from the sun, where it's like a constant dim, so you could see fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm from fucking Mexico, man. Like, I don't know if you guys know.
From fucking Mars, man. and alternate human history, man. They say that a portion of us come from Mars, and that the survivors of that cataclysm, they basically came here like in a life pod situation or some shit, right? And they're more lizard-like, man, like the mentality of 14-year-old boys, like fucking squeeze the head off fucking mice and shit, and that's who became like the overlords. That's who's the current elites around the planet, dude. Is the eventual, the ancestors of that original sect, and that they came as survivors, of course, like refugees do. Right? Hands like cups, dude. We're sorry, let us in, right? And fucking then you let them in, they build their numbers, and then they fucking take over, son.
Right. Next thing you know, they get expelled, and then we have to fucking slice them off a place in the Middle East,
Right. Exactly.
right smack dab in the middle of it. right there up a nice little plot of land off the Mediterranean. How about that?
Yeah, you get tans, dude. It's a good time.
Yeah, shit. Well, we've been going about 2 hours, 15 minutes now, man. It's a damn good show.
Yeah. Went along great. Didn't feel that good. Appreciate everybody.
If I can thank, we appreciate the sub, Valiant Thor. Anybody else watching this, make sure that you guys subscribe to this guy's channel as well. He's all of links are in the description below. Shit. Anything else you want to throw in before we get on out of here, man?
No, just watch the crumbling of American jurisprudence in real time, man. Check it out for yourselves.
All right. Shit, we're living through it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, man, freaking appreciate all you guys for stopping by. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Big F.